1. Robert Anderson, country, United States, years active. From 1966 to 2003, proven victims, 1,050 plus, general and sports physician of the University of Michigan. Died in 2008 with no criminal record. During his long career as a physician, he was alleged to have raped over 1,000 men and women. During routine medical exams, the university reached a settlement of $490 million with 1,050 victims in 2022. 2. Mustafa Tabet, country, Morocco, years active. From 1986 to 1992, proven victims, 518. Corrupt police commissioner who kidnapped and raped young girls and women at his apartment in Casablanca, always recording his assaults on tape. His case was infamous for the fact that he used his power and influence to destroy evidence of his wrongdoings. Tabet was convicted, sentenced to death and executed for his crimes in 1993, the last person to be executed in Moroccan history. 3. Juan Carlos Sanchez Latorre, country, Colombia, Venezuela, years active. From 2008 to 2011, proven victims, 267. Known as the Big Bad Wolf, lured young boys to hotels, where he raped and recorded videos of the assaults. Suspected of more than 500, with some occurring in Venezuela. Sentenced to 60 years imprisonment. 4. Jimmy Savile, country, United Kingdom, years active. From 1955 to 2009, proven victims, 217. British celebrity who sexually abused hundreds of children during a 50-year period. After Savile's death, an inquiry revealed that he was quite possibly the most prolific sex offender in British history. 5. Keith Raniere, country, United States, years active. From 1998 to 2018, proven victims, 156. Leader of the NXIVM sex cult under the guise of multi-level marketing. Formed a division within the cult exclusively designated for women, with Raniere running the group at the chief position, where hundreds of women were recruited, sexually abused, and trafficked regularly, as well as branded with Raniere's initials. Also accused of statutory sexual abuse of underage girls, and repeated rape outside of the group, arrested along with several of his associates and sentenced to life in prison on convictions, including sex trafficking, conspiracy to commit forced labor, and racketeering. 6. Joji Obara, country, Japan, years active. From 1998 to 2000. Proven victims, 150 to 400. Korean-Japanese businessman who drugged and raped between 150 and 400 women, at least 2 of which died. Obara was tried for one of the deaths and was sentenced to life imprisonment. Obara has been described as the worst serial rapist in the country's history, and his case received international coverage due to most of his victims being foreign tourists. 7. Earl Bradley, country, United States, years active. From 1994 to 2009. Proven victims, 127 to 1,400. Disgraced former pediatric physician in the northeastern United States, surrendered in 2009 to a trail where he was later convicted on dozens of sex crimes, often on videotape, against children. In the office where we worked, also physically and emotionally battered his son and stole psychiatric drugs from his employers. Regarded as one of America's worst child sexual predators, although conviction on confirmed charges regarding sexually assaulting and exploiting over 100 children, some as young as infants, hundreds more victims, and their families have filed civil suits. 8. Richard Allan Minsky, country, United States, years active. From 1980 to 1999, proven victims, 100 plus. Recidivist con artist, extortionist, and serial rapist of women for nearly 2 decades across a dozen states. Minsky would randomly trick women in the phone book by distressing them with ruses of their loved ones, then lure them to extort them or rape and brutalize them. Minsky would be in and out of prison for the few sporadic crimes he would be caught for, before eventually being arrested as a fugitive and connected with hundreds of women being targeted, conned, and attacked nationwide. LAPD Detective John Metcalf, who was assigned to track Minsky when he started on the job, put in all his efforts, even down to appealing to the public, to track Minsky down. When Minsky was arrested, his motive for the crimes was reportedly refusing to put in paying work for a living as a parolee. The sentencing judge remarked, "It being wonderful criminals in the world like Minsky were a rarity," was sentenced to life in prison and remains incarcerated. 9. Marcelo Sayan, country, Argentina, years active, from 1991 to 2004, proven victims, 93. Car thief who raped young women in the city of Cordoba, Argentina. He committed suicide with a shot to the head. To avoid arrest, before and after his death, DNA tests linked him to 93 cases of rape, but his actual 10. William Vahe, country, United States, Nicaragua, United Kingdom, years active, from 1963 to 2014, proven victims, 90 plus. American teacher with a repertoire of international schools, was first convicted and put on the sex offense registry for child molestation as a Boy Scout starting at age 14. After being released from prison, Vahe traveled abroad and sexually abused more boys who were students at the schools, feeding them Oreo cookies with sleeping medicine in them and making child pornography while molesting the boys. Vahe did not sign the registry, which is how the schools never found out records. Vahe allegedly molested boys for all his life, having been previously molested as a child, by his own account. Because of barely being penalized, despite evidence of child pornography recovered in raids in Nicaragua and London, Vahe fled back to America and committed suicide by stabbing in the chest while in Minnesota, after a previously failed attempted years before in Nicaragua, dying at age 64. Dozens of victims and their families filed lawsuits and demanded compensation. Vahe was married and had 2 adult children.